good morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever you are watching it from. Today we are going to be starting off with compound interest. Okay, so let's begin. Before starting off with compound interest, I would like to tell you basics about simple interest, because simple interest is the mother, compound interest is from the mother, like how we are from our parents, right? Let's begin. So first thing, this is what we are going to be learning in this particular chapter in this video. Okay, first we'll start off with introduction. Simple interest, what is it? Because we have already learned what is simple interest in the last class. Then how linking simple interest with compound interest, after that practice, and then we have some homework that you have to do. So the first thing is that we have a video on what is simple interest and the basics of it. Okay, so this is the basic video about what is simple interest versus compound interest. Let's give it a watch. I am making the speed of the video 2x so that if you want to slow it, you can use your YouTube link and in order to make it slower. Okay. Okay, so this was the video about how do we are doing simple interest versus compound interest. Let's go back to our PPT. So we have already watched what is this. Now why do we need interest in our daily life? Okay, so as we can see, simple interest is required when we want to increase our money in a systemic format every year. Okay, like the amount you have already seen in the last video. Okay, the amount that we receive is like the principal every year it is increasing by a fixed amount. In compound interest, that amount is exponential because we are getting not only an interest upon the principal but also the interest on the interest of the next year. Okay, so when we are calculating the interest on principal only, okay, that is known as simple interest. And when we are getting principal interest on principal as well as the first year, second year, third year interest, then we are going it to be compound interest. So simple interest is linear and compound interest is exponential. Okay, next, see, compound is calculated on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from the previous periods. This makes compound interest more powerful in order. Like this compound interest is the way that banks earn money. Okay, like fixed deposits is an example. Fixed deposit, okay, is an example. Recurring fixed deposit is an example of simple interest. Recurring deposit is an example of compound interest. These two are basic ways that we are investing our money. Okay, next, how do we derive the compound interest formula? Okay, let's see. So this is how the basic structure, basic formula of compound interest comes. But always remember one thing, compound interest we get, like the formula gives us the amount directly, but in simple interest we get the interest, then we have to add the interest to the principal in order to get the amount. But in compound interest formula we get the amount directly. In order to find the interest we have to subtract the principal from the amount that we are finding. Okay, let's continue. See, now this is the entire formula. Amount is equal to principal 1 plus r by 100. This is number of times an interest compounded per year into t. So this formula is basically represented as this. Let me show you in a easier manner. Okay, so this particular portion, this r is nothing but the rate. So rate percentage, so this rate percentage is actually written as r by 100. Okay, it's the same thing, and t stands for the time period. Okay, number of years. Okay, so this is the simple interest wala formula. We are getting the interest directly, we are getting the interest, but in case of compound interest we are getting the amount. Okay, this is something that should be inside your head, okay, since the beginning. Okay, so compound interest formula gives us the amount directly, simple interest formula gives us the interest. After that we have to add the interest to the principal in order to get the amount. Okay, sure. Next, let's move on. Now compounding, we have already learned what compounding is. Okay, so investing in a particular principal exponentially gives us compounding. Okay, so this we have already learned what is for the first year, what is for the second year, what is for the third year. See, simple interest is going to be same for each and every year. That is the reason it's known as simple interest. Okay, so if I have a basic sum, if I have, let me take, like, let's not solve it right away, let me give you a basic sum. Okay, so if I have 1000 rupees with me, okay, so interest time period I have taken as 5 years and 10% is the rate. Okay, so this is the total interest, 500 rupees. That is for what? 5 years. So each year what will be the interest? Okay, this 500 is divided into first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. So 500 if is divided equally into 5 years, the total year interest will be 100 rupees. So 100 rupees for the first year, 100 for the second, 100 for the third, 100 for the fourth, and finally 100 for the fifth. Okay, this is how we calculate simple interest. Simple interest is the same for each and every year. Okay, now let's move on to this sum. So this particular sum states what is successive years. Okay, so we have been learning interest, that is like the rate percent, that is same for each and every year. But now we are changing it. We are changing it from not only one particular rate percent every year, it is increasing or decreasing according to the sum. Let's see. So calculate the amount and the compound interest on 12,000 rupees in 3 years when the rates of interest for the successive year are 8%, 10%, 15% respectively. Okay, let's solve it. So I'm gonna find what? The amount first. Amount. So formula we already know, amount is equal to principal 1 plus R1 by 100 into 1 plus R2 by 100 into 1 plus R3 by 100. Okay, as the rates are different for each and every sum, we are going to be writing R1, R2, R3, that is different for each and every year. Okay, now let's put the value. This is going to be 12,000, that is the principal, that is same. 1 plus R1 is 8% first year, second year R2 is 10%, third year R3 is 15%. Okay, now let's solve whatever we can do. Okay, so divided by 4, this is 50, 2 by 25, this comes 1 by 10, this comes 3 by 20. Okay, so this particular portion, let me write it down. So we are getting amount is equal to 12,000 into 1 plus, this was what, 8 by 100, 8 by 100 is 8 by 100, 1 plus 1 by 10, 1 plus 3 by 20. This is 450, 2 by 25. So 12,000 into 25 by 27 into 10, 11 into 20, 23. Okay, let's two zeros. Okay, then let's divide it by 5. 5, this is going to be 5 to 24 to 12. So what did we get in this particular portion? We got 12 into 27 into 23 into 11 divided by 5. Okay, now let's rub whatever the rest is there so that we can calculate this. Okay, so 27 into 12, 14,145 into 324 into 23, 846. Okay, so we got 81,972. Let me just write that only first. 81,972. Now 81,972 divided by 5. Okay, so let's cancel it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 30, 30, that brings us to be 6. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 30, 1, 15. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 4, 9, 45, 46, 47, 4, that comes 4. So this is the compound interest amount that is to be found. See, this type of sums are always going to give you a reality check on calculations. Okay, so I have given this sum in the first instance so that we know that calculations are going to be an integral part of this chapter. Okay, this is going to be the amount. If we want to find out the compound interest, we have to deduct amount minus principal. So this is amount minus principal So this is going to be the answer for this particular sum. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so this is the way. Here we have not showed how to solve, but I have shown you. If you want to see the solution again, you can turn back the time and make sure you will understand each and every step of the solution. Next, what is compound interest with an example? We have already learned what is compound interest with an example. So let's go to the first sum. Rupees 8,000 is lent at 5% compound interest per year for 2 years. Find the amount and the compound interest. Okay, I will be showing you two methods in order to solve this sum. One is useful for MCQs and the other one is useful to do this sum how we have learned it in the in this particular video. Let's begin. First is the method, normal method. Normal method. Okay, so amount is equal to principal 1 plus r by 100 to the power t. This t stands for number of years, time. Here it's given 2 years, so let's write down what is given. So p is given as 8,000, rate is given as 5%, and time is given as 2 years. Okay, So the amount, let's substitute the values here. So it is 8000 1 plus r by 100 to the power 2. This will give us 20. So 8000 into 20 by 21 whole square. Okay, let me write this here then. 8000 into 21 into 21 by 400. Okay, so 2 zeros cancel out 2 zeros, 4 will cancel out this into 20. So 21 square. Let me show you one more method how to do squares first. So 1 is 0 1, 2 ka square is 0 4, 2 into 1 2, 2 into 2 4. So the answer is 441. So 441 into 20, 0 2 8 8. This is the amount. Okay, and so the compound interest that is found out is nothing but 8820 minus 8000 gives us 820. So this is the normal method how do we solve this sum. Okay, now let me show you the other method that I was talking about, but this particular other method that I am going to show you can be used in MCQs, not in regular classes. Okay, let me first begin with that thing and let me see whether you can understand this or not. Now this is time for this was the normal method, right? So now let's head straight into the Aram se method. Okay, we're going to solve this sum Aram se. Let's go. So we are taking the principal into 5 by 100. This is for first year. 2 zeros cancel the first year. The simple interest, compound interest will be the same. Okay, so we are getting for the first year it's 400 rupees. For the second year, okay, the principal will give us the same interest, right? So 8000 into 5 by 100, again 400 rupees. Now compound interest in the first instance of the chapter not only gives the interest based on principal but also on the interest accumulated for each and every year. Okay, so 400 we are going to find the interest on that 400 as well. So this will come over here. The 400 into 5 by 100, that gives us nothing but 20. Okay, now let's add all of this up. 800, this is 20. So 820 is the CI. In this method we are finding the compound interest directly, and if we find compound interest, amount is very easy. Amount is equal to principal plus CI. The principal was 8000, CI was 820, and there we go, we found that the answer is 8820. Okay, this is the second method, year wise calculation of the CI. Okay, and in this method there is also one thing. If you are going to solve this sum and the question states that what is the difference between the compound interest and the simple interest for 2 years, of if this is the principal, this is the amount, this is the time period. Okay, so it's nothing but this 20 rupees that we have found out, because in simple interest every year the interest will be the same, but in compound interest the interest will give us surcharge interest. So this surcharge interest is this rupees 20. That is the difference between the compound and the simple interest for this 2 years for this particular sum. Okay, let's move on. Check. So this is the answer, we already have solved it. Let's move on. Now calculate the compound interest accrued on rupees 16,000 in 3 years when the rates for different successful years are 10, 12 and 15%. I want you guys to do this sum and write the answer in the comment portion. Okay, this type of sum I have already done it. Let me show you the first step. Okay, I am going to write the amount directly. We already know how to write it. Amount is equal to principal is 16,000. First year 1 plus first year is 10 by 100. Second year is 1 plus 12 by 100. And third year is 1 plus 15 by 100. Okay, solve this. Okay, you'll get the answer. Okay, please do try to take part in this video and write the answer in the comment section. Okay, let's go. Now let's go on to a little more trickier sums. Okay, now Mrs. Bedi invested rupees 6,000 every year at the beginning of the year at 10% per annum compound interest. Calculate the amount of her total savings up to the end of the second year at the beginning of the third year. Okay, so this is the particular solution. Let me go with the solution step by step. For the first year, the amount invested is 6,000 rupees. Amount invested is 6,000. So 6,000 becomes the principal for the first year. Now interest on the first year के लिए simple interest compound interest is the same. Don't even need to bother about it. That first year simple interest compound interest is different. It's the same. Okay. So we are getting an interest of 600 rupees for the rate being 10%. Okay. So amount becomes 6,600 rupees. This is after first year. After first year. Okay. Now second year. Okay. 6,000 is invested again. Okay, so the principal now becomes 6,000 plus 6,600, that is from the first year. Okay, so total principal for the second year is 12,600. Okay, so interest on that is going to be 1,260 rupees. So amount becomes 13,860. Okay, now this will move forward into the third year as the total principal. So since 6,000 is invested again at the beginning of the third year, amount of our total savings in the beginning of the third year is nothing but 13,860 that we have got from this portion and the 6,000 that invested again by her. So the total amount is 19,860. Okay, so this sum is a really interesting sum. Okay, that gives us the idea of how to use compound interest in simple interest format to find the answer for each and every step of each and every year. Okay. Now it's your time to solve some sums. On a certain sum of money invested at the rate of 5% per annum compound annually, the difference between the interest of the first year and the interest of the third year is 61.50. Find the sum. Okay. So try to do this sum. Okay, but if you want me to explain what is happening in this sum, let me explain it to you, then you try it on your own. So we don't know the principal here, so let the principal be P. So P is the principal here. So rate is given as 5. The principal we don't know. Rate is given as 5%. Then compound annually, difference between the interest of the first year and interest of the third year is 61.50. Okay, so CI after first year, this is some like, let me see, CI1. So CI for the first year, let me write it down. CI after first year is going to be CI for third year minus CI for first year is going to be 61.50. Okay. Now we have to find, these are the things that are given in this particular sum. Now we have to solve for and find the principal amount. Okay. Now I will show you one particular thing for this sum. Let me utilize a different method for this. Okay. Let's see how to solve this. Okay, so let the principal be 100x. Let it be 100x. So for first year we are getting 100x into 5%. So 5x. So for the first year, let me just write 5x here directly. The interest is 5x. For the second year, it's again 5x. Third year, it's again 5x. Now this 5x, 5x, 5x is the simple interest that we found. Now for the compounding part. So first step, 5x into 5 by 100, 24. Okay, so x by 4. This is going to be x by 2. Now this is going to be x by 4 into 5 by 100, 20, so x by 80. Okay, now let me just write what is there, what is happening here. Okay, so this is going to be x by 4 and x by 2 and x by 80. X by 4, this is going to be 10x, 5 by 100. Perfect. X by 2, and lastly this is going to be x by 80. Now let's add everything up. Okay, now why will we add everything up? It's my fault. See, it's given the first year and the interest for the third year is this. So first year the interest was this, and the third year the interest is this entire thing. Okay, now what is the difference in this? These two, right? So these two, x by 80 plus x by 20, this is going to be equal to 16.50, 61.50, that is given. Let us solve this particular portion. So this is 2. Okay, so 80, this is x, this is 40x is equal to 6150 by 100, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so let me rub this and try to solve this here. So 41x is equal to 615 into 8. Now let's see, 41 into 15, 5, 20 into 1, 4, 615. So 41 divides this by 15. So the value of x will be 15 into 8, 120. Okay, so now let's substitute the value of x here. So 100 into 120, the answer is 12,000. So this is how we solve this particular sum. This was a tricky sum. You have to understand every concept of compound interest in order to solve this. Okay, but this will actually help you to solve any sum in any compound interest exams. Okay, let's continue with the next one. Okay, this you can see for help, for reference if you want. Now again the next one. During every financial year the value of a machine depreciates. Okay, now what is depreciating? Depreciating means you buy a mobile phone, you buy a phone for 10,000 rupees. Okay, and after 1 year you want to sell this phone up because you have your eyes on a new phone. Okay, so you want to buy the new phone, you go to the seller and you say, this phone I bought a year ago for 10,000, I want 10,000 for it. Okay, then the seller will be like, why will I give you 10,000? You have utilized this phone for 1 year. The cost will depreciate, the cost will decrease after every use. Okay, so now you will not get the value that you have purchased this mobile phone for. Okay, you will be getting as much as 8,000, 6,000, 5,000, you will not get the 10,000, but a value lower than that. Okay, so this is what is known as depreciating. Okay, this concept of depreciation is also very important in economics. Okay, and to understand how gadgets, mainly things that we buy, okay, like cars, mobile phone, gadget, TV, AC, fridge, anything, after purchased, if we go back to the store and say that I have purchased this before 6 months, give me the value that I have purchased this for. They will not give it to you the value. Okay, they'll give a value that is lesser than. Okay, because you already used this. This is known as depreciating. Okay, so this question states that during every financial year, the value of a machine depreciates by 10%. Find the original value cost of a machine which depreciates by rupees 2250 during the second year. Okay, now let me show you how to solve this. See, first let me give you some time in order to read the sum and read what is written in the statement. Okay, so the original cost of the machine is rupees 100. Okay, this we are assuming depreciation for the 1 year is 10% already written in the question, so rupees 10. So the thing that we have purchased for 100 rupees, after 1 year it becomes 90 rupees. Okay, so value of beginning of the second year is 90 rupees. Depreciation during the second year is rupees 10 again. Okay, now when depreciation during the second year is rupees 9. Okay, कैसे ये 9 आया? You might think of 10 ही आना चाहिए ना, but 10% 90 into 10% तो 9. This 9 is going to come down here. Okay, the first year depreciate by rupees 10, second year depreciate by rupees 9, third year it will depreciate by 8.1. Okay, so like that it will keep on depreciating by 10% every year. Okay, so now when depreciation after second year is rupees 2250, but we have already found out that the original cost is 100 by 9 into 2250, just inverse of basic theorems, that is like what was inverse, basic inverse. So if this was the amount, now we have depreciated the amount by this, then what will be inverse of this? Simple. Okay, let's continue. Now for the next sum, what sum of money will amount to 3613 2 years at 10% compound interest? Okay, let me solve it. Okay, so let me have the amount as 100x. Okay, this is the principal, because we have to find the sum of money, right? We have to find the principal here, which is 100x. This is the principal. Okay, we know the amount is equal to principal 1 plus r by 100 to the power 2, right? So let me substitute the value. This is the amount is already given. So 3630 is equal to 100x 10 11 whole square. Okay, so if you do not want to keep it as 100x, you can also write it down as p. I think p will be less stressful because we do not have to cancel it. Okay, so 3630 into 3630 is equal to p 100 121. So the value of p will be 3630 into 100 divided by 121. 121 into 3 we can easily find out, right? If you multiply 121 into 3, we will get 363. So the principal amount comes out to be 3000 rupees. Okay, let's move forward to the next sum. Okay, at what rate percent? Now we have found out principal, we have found out the amount. Now it's time to find out the rate. The rate is not given in this particular question. At what percent per annum CI will 2000 amount to in 3 years? Okay, so principal is given here as 2000, amount is given here as 2315.25. Let us put this, and the time is given as 3 years, right? We do not know what is rate. Okay, let us write down what is given in the question. So amount is equal to principal plus 1 by r by 100 to the power t. Amount here is 2315.25 by principal is equal to 100 plus r times 3. Okay. Now this is a trick for every sum. As it is given to the power 3, okay, there shall be that whatever number is what number will come here will be a cube root. Okay, it will be a perfect cube. Okay, let's check it. Let us find the principal here. Principal is given as 2000. Okay, now let us solve this. If you are moving these two, we are adding two more zeros here. Let's solve it. So by 5 this is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is, we're dividing this by 5. So 5 4 is 20, this is 6, this is 3. Now this is 0 and this is 5 again. Okay. Again let's divide it by 5. This is 8, 0, 0, 0. By 5 this is 9. 45 1, this is 2, 36 1. Okay, now let us find out if this is a perfect cube or not. Okay, we will utilize the most basic method possible to find out the cube. 9261 divided by 3, 3 0 24, 8 7, again 3, 1 0 2 9, again 3 3 4 3. Now this we can recollect, it is a 7 cube, right? This is 7 cube, 7 49 7 and 7 again. This is coming out to be 3 into 7, so this is 21. Okay, so this will be 21. So we have already found out that this number is actually the cube root of nothing but 21. So 21, if you are cubing it, we are going to find out 9261. Let's cancel this out. So 9261 divided by 8000 is equal to 100 plus r by 100, this whole cube. Okay. This is 21 by 20 is equal to 100 plus r by 100. So this and this gets cancelled, this and this gets cancelled by 5. Okay. So 21 into 5 is equal to 100 plus r. So 505 minus 100 is equal to r. Then the rate percent here is nothing but 5. So this is going to be our answer for this particular question. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, now here we have found out what is principal, how to find the amount, rate. Now comes the time. Okay, let's go. In how many years will 2000 amount to 2662 at 10%? Okay, that's right. Now we have already know how to write the formula. Okay, so I'm going to write it directly. So amount 2662 is equal to principal plus 1 plus 10 by 100 to the power t. Okay, so 2662 by 2000 is equal to okay. Now let's try to match the power, whatever power is given. So we can see both of them can be divided by 2. 1000, this is 1331. Okay, now we have already learned this, right, in exponents, that a by b is equal to 10 by 11 if it's going to be a square, so A will be a multiple of 10, B will be a multiple of 11. We're going to utilize that particular concept only in this particular portion. Okay, how we are going to do it? Let's see. So we are getting 1331 by 1000 is equal to 11 by 10 to the power t. So 1331 is nothing but 11 cube, and this is 10 cube, right? 11 by 10. So this particular portion we can write like this, right? 11 by 10 whole cube is equal to 11 by 10. So if the base is same, okay, then the power has to be same, right? So then t is equal to 3. So the time taken for this is 3. So this is the answer for this one. Okay. Now, I think now you are more than suitable enough to solve this on your own. Okay, you know the basics, you know how to find out the amount, the principal, the rate, the time period for each and every sum simultaneously. You know how to solve it in the direct manner, you know how to solve it by step manner that I have already taught you. Okay, try this, and if you need help, this is the answer. Okay, next. Now here comes the difference wala sums. Okay, difference wala sum, this is very interesting to solve. Okay, the difference between the CI and SI on 8400 for 2 years is 21 at the same rate of interest per year. Find the rate of interest. Okay, so here we do not know what is the rate. Okay, we know that the time is for 2 years, this is the difference, and this is the principal. Okay, now let's solve it simultaneously for SI and CI. Let's go. So simple interest, compound interest. This is 8400 for interest directly, 8400 for 2 years at a rate we don't know. Okay, and for compound interest we are going to find what? The amount. Let's first derive this formula only. Okay, how to do this? Let's see. Amount is equal to principal 1 plus r by 100 to the power t. Okay, we know that CI is nothing but amount minus principal. Okay, amount is P 1 plus r by 100 to the power t minus p. We have just substituted the amount like this. Okay, we are taking p common. We are getting what? 1 plus r by 100 to the power t minus 1. Okay, so this is how to find out the compound interest directly. Okay, now let's substitute whatever value is known to us. Okay, for both of the sums. So this 168R is already done, and let's solve this. Principal here is 8400, 1 plus r by 100 to the power 2 minus 1. Okay, so now this minus this will give us 21. That is what is in the sum. Okay, now I won't be solving this sum in this particular way because the board is really small and I need a little bit more space. Let me solve it with the thing that we've already learned, the shortcut methods. This is how to solve it. I've shown you the way if you want to do it in a very basic manner, but this is how we solve it if we want to do it very fast. Okay, we know that difference is equal to principal into rate by 100 into 100. This is the formula. Difference is 21. Principal is 8400. This is r square by, so let's calculate these two. This is going to be divided by 4. Okay, so r square is equal to 100 by 4. This is going to be 25. The value of rate will be 5%. Okay, this formula is going to be utilized for 2 years only, not for 3 years. Okay, this is how to do this type of sums in a short manner. Okay, let's continue to the next sum. So if you need help understanding it, so this is the solution in a very basic manner. You can pause the video, you can try to understand each and every step what is happening. If you have any issues or problems understanding this, I'll be putting one more video up to understand you this particular concept wala sum in a very basic manner. Okay, sure. Now comes out what is half yearly compounding. Okay, now let's watch the video for half yearly.
Let us draw a vertical cantilever. This is today. This is 1
Okay, this was the very basic concept about how to know that what is half yearly. I'll also utilize a much more easier method so that like ज़्यादा stress मत लेना, that आराम से method, if you know what I mean. Okay, so half yearly, let me just head on straight to that easy wala concept. Okay, so half yearly means 6 months, 6 मंथ के बाद एक इंटरेस्ट, फिर से 6 मंथ के बाद एक इंटरेस्ट. ओके, तो एक ईयर 12 मंथ्स, तो 6 months हाफ ईयरली. ओके, सो डोंट, वेन एवर यू सी इन द क्वेश्चन हाफ ईयरली इज मैंशन, ओके, टाइम पीरियड इज वॉट, 2 into time, rate is what, r/2, that's it. Quarterly, quarter, 1/4, quarterly, time period 4 into time, rate is equal to r/4. Okay, okay, half yearly, quarterly, half into 2/2, time quarterly 1/4 into 4/4. This is it. Always remember this, no problem in any sums whatsoever. So let's do this. So this is what is going to be the basic structure of half yearly. Now let us do this particular sum. Find the amount in the compound interest on rupees 10,000 at 8% per annum in 1 year, interest being compounded half yearly. हाफ ईयरली हो गया यहाँ पर, अगर हाफ ईयरली यहाँ पर हो गया तो वी ऑलरेडी नो टाइम पीरियड इज 2 into 1. ये 1 कहाँ से आया, ठीक है. रेट इज व्हाट, r/2. r क्या है यहाँ पर, 8, तो 8/2 इज 4%. चलो फॉर्मूला में डाल लेते हैं. अमाउंट इज इक्वल टू, प्रिंसिपल इज 10,000 into 1 plus 4/100 to the power 2, and let's solve it. This is 25, 10,000 into 25, 26 into 26, 25. Okay, 5 से ये 2000, 5 से ये 400, 5 से अगेन 80, 5 से अगेन 5 1s and 5, 6 7 8 30, that is 60. Okay, so the answer will come out to be, let me write it here, 26 whole square into 16, 3604, 1224, 676 into 60, so 676 into 10 plus 6, 6760 plus 676 into 6, 6760 plus 36, 42, 45, 36, 40. Okay, so 618. So this is the answer. Okay, this is the answer for the amount for half yearly. Let's go to the next sum. Okay, this is the same solution. Next, again same sum. Here see the time. Take note of what the time is given. So हाफ ईयरली आपने देख लिया कि हाफ ईयरली है, तो रेट इज़ गोइंग टू बी 10/2, that is 5%. Time here is, let's mix fraction से let's convert into an improper fraction, 3/2 time into 2, whatever is given. So here time is 3 and the rate is 5. Same formula में डाल दो. Amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r/100 to the power 3, 4000 into 20/21 into 21/20 into 21/20, 0 0 0 0 0 0 gone. 2 2. So 21 cube, 21 square is 0 1 0 4 into 4 441, 441 into 20 plus 1. So 0 2 8 8 plus 441. So 1629 9261. 9261, sorry, 9261 divided by 2. Calculate the compound. So 9261 into 2 into 2 into 2. So the answer will be, divided by 2 is 4 4630.5. The compound interest is 630.5. Okay, so don't need to take stress about anything. Half yearly, time period into 2, rate half, that's it. Okay, now quarterly compounding. Let's begin. What is quarterly compounding? So this was the basic concept, but how do we solve the quarterly wala concepts? So I've already told you, half yearly, time period into 2, rate divided by 2. Quarterly, time period into 4, rate divided by 4. Okay, chalo. Let's solve this. Okay, so this is the particular principle that was given, invested at the rate of 8%. So I've already told you what is going to happen, divided by 4. So rate is equal to whatever rate is given divided by 4, time, whatever time is given, into 4. So time is going to be 8, rate is going to be 2. Okay, so you can imagine in this particular sum the power will be increased to 8. Okay, so 10,000 principal into 1 by r by 100 into 8. So let me write this down in a fresh manner so that you can understand. One plus 1 by 50 to the power 8. Okay, so 51 into 51 into okay, so this you have to solve this. If I'm gonna solve this particular sum, I'll be utilizing a different method to solve this. Let me just tell you how to solve this in that particular method, because it will take a lot of time if we solve it in the common wala method. Chalo. So interest is 8%, compounded quarterly, 2 years. So this is 1 year, first year 4 different parts. Okay, so this is the rate is 2%, first year 4 different parts. Okay, it's the same thing that we have already solved. So 8 by 100, so that gives us this particular answer. Chalo. Next, when the interest is not exactly number of years and compounded annually, find the amount when 10,000 is invested for 2.5 years at 10% and it is compounded yearly. Let's solve this. So the principal amount here is nothing but 10,000. Time here is given as 2, 4, 5 by 2 years and rate is 10%. Here we do not have any half yearly or like quarterly concepts. Okay, so the amount here is going to be 10,000 1 plus 1 by 10 to the power 5 by 2. Now this 5 by 2 wala format, that is in fraction over here, we can solve it in 2 different manners. First is, I would utilize you not to be solving this like, because it will be very huge, this particular type of sums. Let us solve it like this. So 10,000 first year, 10,000 into 10%. The first is going to give us 1,000. Second year is also going to give us 1,000. This is going to give us 100. And now we have half of the last year. So third year is 1,210. So this is going to be half. Okay. So 1210 divided by 2, that is 605. So 2100 plus 605. So this is going to be the interest that is compounded, and when we add 10,000 to it, we are going to get the amount. Okay. So this is what we have done. This is a gist of whatever concepts that we have covered in this particular chapter. So compounded yearly, half yearly, for 1 year, 2 years, 1.5 years, 2.5 years. Okay. So you can either do it directly, subtract the value, divide the value, whatever you do, you will get the same answer if your concept is clear. Chalo. So this is the concept of depreciation. I have already told you what is depreciation. So this particular sum I want you to do as a homework. If you understood what is the concept of depreciation, this is the answer. If you want to carry forward it, how much time will it take to depreciate this particular value? Okay. So these two are also something for you to solve and write it down in the comment section if you want to. So this last two parts are the one that we will try to bring you a video about this, because this video is more than 1 hour right now. So try to watch it. Thank you for your time. Okay, have a great day. Bye bye. Call up.